Good morning, everybody. I'll be presenting a case of tetralogy of Fallot with pulmonary atresia, in which there were non-confluent pulmonary arteries, and to go for the corrective surgery, we have to do palliative intervention. This was a male who was 5 years old. He presented with the status post-right modified BT shunt about a couple of years back, and echocardiography showed non-confluent pulmonary arteries with absent left pulmonary artery. The BT shunt was well functioning, and the saturation of oxygen was 64%. And he came with increasing cyanosis to us. So procedure which was done was diagnostic catheterization, which showed a well-functioning right BT shunt, good size right pulmonary artery. LPA could not be visualized in the BT shunt angiogram. So we went ahead and did a left lower pulmonary venous wedge angiogram because there was a presence of small ASD, which revealed a hypoplastic left pulmonary artery which was arising distal to the left subclavian artery from the descending thoracic aorta. So we went ahead and did a LPA stenting, and the saturations improved and went up to 86%. This is the first angiogram of the right ventricle, which shows a blind RVOT from which only the ascending aorta is filled and nothing else is visualized. This was a selective right BT shunt. The first catheter is in the right BT shunt. The second catheter shows a blind right ventricular outflow tract. This angiogram shows a well-functioning right modified BT shunt with filling of right pulmonary artery. And as we can see, the left pulmonary artery is not visualized. Then we went ahead and documented that simultaneous injection of right pulmonary artery and the right ventricular outflow tract still did not show any filling of the left lung. So this was the venous wedge angiogram of the left lower pulmonary vein, which shows a faintly filled up retrogradely left pulmonary artery. Still to show that this left pulmonary artery is discontinuous from the main pulmonary artery, we went and did both the angiograms simultaneously, one from the BT shunt and one from the left lower pulmonary vein. And as we could see, the origin of the left pulmonary artery seems to be arising distal to the left subclavian artery. We did a selective angiogram with the help of a Judkin right catheter. The left lung is poorly filled. There is a very poor antegrade flow with a tight stenotic segment in the proximal part of the left pulmonary artery. Confirmed it in a second view. It was showing a very nice ampulla in the initial part of the left pulmonary artery, and there was a diffuse underfilled left pulmonary artery which was hypoplastic. This pulmonary artery was crossed with a floppy wire BMW, and it was dilated with a 2.5 by 15 millimeter Maverick balloon. Post balloon dilatation, the pulmonary artery started filling, and the venous return started coming to the left atrium through the pulmonary vein. Then with the help of a driver 3.5 by 18 millimeter stent, it was positioned, and after dilatation, there was a very brisk flow, and we can see the left atrium which is filled in the levo phase. This was the AP projection which shows. Then in the orthogonal views, the whole lung vascularity was documented, and we can see a very decent levo phase which fills up. And the saturations immediately improved from 64 to the 84%. This was the final picture. It shows the whole lung parenchyma, and then the this patient was staged for a corrective surgery later on, and the message was palliative interventions can be useful in selective subgroups of tetralogy of Fallot physiology. Thank you.
Are there any other congenital heart diseases, congenital defects?
Mike? I had only one case.
No, in this patient, along with TOF and...
This patient had, sir, AST, tetralogy of Fallot, so no other congenital disease was associated.
So this is a single lung tetralogy, and you've stented the LPA. There are a couple of concerns. One is, of course, your surgeon is going to have a hard time in rehabilitating the left pulmonary artery, because that part of the left pulmonary artery that has got to be united with the right pulmonary artery is going to have a stent sitting into it. That makes it technically even more difficult.
Absolutely, sir.
So
absolutely.
That is a big concern. And the other thing is, I'm also concerned about the longevity of the stent as such, which with a very limited downstream flow into one lung only. So this tends to get occluded as well. So these are two major concerns why we haven't taken this approach. We primarily address it surgically. We'd like to rehabilitate surgically and then stent the LPA once there is a stenosis at the site of the LPA-MPA junction.
Absolutely, sir.
What was the amount of contrast used? Were there any concerns?
Sir, we used around 4 ml per kilogram contrast. The weight of the child was around 15 kg. We have used around 60 ml of contrast, diluted with 50 ml saline. So we could use 120 ml, 50-50 diluted.
Any other questions?
Has this patient undergone surgery after that?
Sir, patient is still to go for surgery.
This is an actual case of tetralogy fellow with the right aortic arch, indirect PDA, which is arising from the innominate on left side and supplying the pulmonary artery, left pulmonary artery, hence it's a disconnected. The major concern here, technically, when you are putting a stent of more than 3.5, it is above the size of the BT stent for a single lung, they develop a pulmonary hemorrhage. And most often we have stented like that, and as KK said, recruitment of the left pulmonary artery, surgical issues and all will be there. So lesser size stent may be useful temporarily when
Absolutely.
you are doing ICR within the period of 6 months.
To prevent pulmonary
I think
hypertension.
you should do as early as possible intracardiac correction, otherwise it's going to be difficult.
Absolutely, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.